It's Loving Jay, and I'm going to do a video on things that I wish I would have learned around the time that I was in high school, going into adulthood. So, actually, I think I have a list. I'm going to start with finances. Finances, finances, and more finances. So in high school, I wish that they taught people about finances and the importance of finances. So when I say finances, let's Google it. So finance, the management of large amounts of money, especially by government or large companies. Um, Verb, provide funding for a person or enterprise. So for me, when I say finances, I mean credit score, I mean saving money, spending money, all that kind of stuff, right? So when I was in high school, I used to work at Burger King. Okay. I think I made like 5 or 6. I think it was making like $6.25 when I left, and that was in 2007, 2008. I want to say around that time frame. I wish that school prepared me to know how to keep my monthly expenses low, and budget and know what is credit and why is it important. So monthly expenses. Your well, actually, let me backtrack. So I did a video on job versus career, and that will kind of give you an idea of what you want to do. If you want a job or if you want a career. If you want something with longevity and progression, probably a career. But either way, you're compensated for your time and for your skills, abilities, and or your knowledge, right? So say for example, if I work at a fast food restaurant and for my time I get paid $10 per hour, right? My goal, if I live on my own, is to consider the taxes that are taken out of that $10 per hour or my paycheck and consider my monthly expenses. And my monthly expenses could be my car insurance, gas, maintenance for the car. Do I live somewhere? Food. Am I going to school? Do I have a significant other that I want to take out? Do I have children? Basically anything that requires you to pay for something. Those are your expenses. And your job is to put a big gap in between what you get in and what you send out, right? I want to create a big gap. I don't want what I send out to be more than what I get paid, because then that would be bad financial management. Then I would be in a lot of trouble. I want to ensure that if I'm bringing $600 a month in, I spend 300. Unrealistic in some cases, but I'm going to save as much as I can. I don't need to necessarily go out and buy the newest and greatest things. I'm going to be a good steward of my money, and I'm going to sacrifice because I want to save money, right? Why do you save money? Because let's say you're on your job, you've been working there for 6 months, and you save a couple $1,000s and you get into an accident. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, number one. But if it does happen, you need to have something to pull off of when you're not at work. Let's say your insurance doesn't pay you any money for a month or two. You need money, right? You can't work if you're hurt. So you need that. Let's say you have a medical issue. Hopefully you don't, but life happens. That requires that you give or you meet a deductible of $1,000 in order for you to get help. Well, you want your health. You want to be alive and well and in good health. So you need that egg, that nest egg. Let's say that you want to save for a house. You want to make sure that you have the down payment or whatever is necessary if you want to furnish your house. You want to have the money to be able to do that. So that's why it's important to keep your expenses low and ensure that you're not spending extra money. Do you really need those new shoes? Do you really need that purse? Do you really need to buy that new car? Can you get a used car? Do you really have to get name brand whatever? Do you really have to get that 70-inch TV, 4K, ultra high definition? Or can you just get a smart TV? Do you really need cable? How long or how much do you watch TV? Do you really need the fastest internet? Are you streaming a lot? Do you work from home to where you would need that? Or do you do occasional browsing, or occasional YouTube videos? Whatever the case is, ask yourself that so you can keep your expenses low and you can keep your income high. Companies do the same thing. They do everything that they can to be profitable, which is make sure that their cost of goods and services is low, right? And their profit is high, or their net sales is high, or their sales revenue is high, right? So, good financial management. When you're in school, save as much as you can. Save, 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 save. Credit score. Let's talk about credit score and what that is. Something that I wish that I would have learned in high school. So, credit score. So, just a quick Google search. Let's see. Credit can go from 300, which is low, to 850, which is high. Your goal is, of course, to be on the higher side. So that way, when you go to buy your house or when you go to buy your car, or when you go to get a credit card, whatever you might go get, you get the lowest interest possible. Basically meaning you don't have to pay too much extra on what you purchase. So credit score definition. So a number assigned to a person that indicates to lenders their capacity to repay a loan. If I have a low credit score, then that means that I'm more than likely not going to, I don't have the capacity or the ability to pay back the loans. If I have a high credit score, then that means I have a better capacity or ability to pay back loans. You want to keep your credit score good as much as you possibly can. So let's see. Experience says that for a score with a range of 300 to 850, a credit score of 700 or above is generally considered a good score. A score of 800 or above on the same range is considered to be excellent. Most credit scores fall between 600 and 750. Higher scores represent better credit decisions and can make creditors more confident that you will repay your future debts. Let's see if I can figure out what it's made of. Or I can explain to you guys what it's made of. There are certain percentages that go to, or factors, I should say, here it goes. Payment history, so are you making your payments on time? Credit utilization, if you have a credit limit of $100, are you maxing out the $100 or only using 10? Right? You want to keep your credit utilization below 30%. Type and number of age of credit accounts. So do you have multiple credit accounts? For me, I have loans, and I have credit cards, and I have my car. I don't have a house yet because I'm not sure where I want to live. But how is your credit accounts different? Total debt. Do you have school debt? Do you have credit card debt? Do you have medical bills? Those things that you got to pay. Do you have bankruptcy? How many new credit accounts do you have? Are you opening credit accounts frequently? Number of inquiries. Are you going to the car dealership and letting them run your credit 30 times? It's probably not the best thing. If I had to sum up what credit is, it's basically you having access to a credit card, a loan, or something that you potentially would have to pay something back for. And how consistent are you minimizing the amount that you have to pay other people, and when you have to pay other people, how consistent are you in paying them back and on time or in advance? Um, and then also, what's the diversity or different things that you have that you need to pay back, right? How new or old are the accounts? So for me, I have a credit card that I got when I was like 20 or 19, and I've had that credit card for a long time. So to lenders, that looks really good. Um, I would recommend, this is just based off of my experience, of course, that if you're in high school and you go to college, maybe start with a secured credit card, which means that you have to give money to say that you have that amount of money to use as credit. So, for example, I did a secured credit card with $1,000. So that basically means that I gave the financial institution $1,000, and they gave me a credit card with $1,000 limit. Regardless of if I paid them back, they had my $1,000, and my goal was to create a good relationship with them, so that way they gave me a unsecured credit card. There's nothing wrong with secured. Um, there's nothing wrong with it. Unsecured just basically means I don't have to give collateral. After a year of being with that financial institution and paying on time, I reapplied for an unsecured loan, or excuse me, an unsecured credit card, and they approved me for $7,500 because I paid them on time. I kept my debt low, and I had a good relationship with them. Does that make sense? So if you're in high school, going to college, consider saving as much as you can. Keep your credit score high and think long term. Do I really need the materialistic stuff? Is that going to help me advance me? Probably not. Keep your credit score high. Keep your expenses low. And keep a pattern of that. And when you go to buy that $500,000 house, then you'll have a really low interest rate. When you apply to get that credit card, they'll give you a $20,000 limit. Or if you accidentally skip a payment or miss a payment, they're not going to look at you sideways like, what the heck? And make sure that you are not letting people run your credit. It's okay for you not to tell people that you have a credit card with a $10,000 limit or a $15,000 limit. You don't want people to take advantage of you. Your friends, they might want to go out and party, but you might want to consider, is it worth the interest, the late fees that you might have to pay? Consider all those things, right? When you're applying for a credit card, consider the interest rate based on your credit. Late fees, do you have to pay everything off at the end of the billing cycle, or can you spread things out? What are you getting in return? Are you getting some type of incentive to sign up? And what are the benefits of the card? Is it a cash back rewards card? Is it a travel card? Is it a card that gives you access to different things? Do they offer, is the credit card accepted in different places? These are the things that you have to research, right? So hopefully, if you're in high school or college or whatever, you are going to make maybe better decisions for yourself. It's okay to say, I have a bad credit score, because accepting that allows you to move forward in getting a better credit score. If you have a lot of things that you have to pay off, start with the small things first, in my opinion. Build up your confidence. If you have a medical bill of $200, send $20 every so often. Eventually, it's going to get paid. Maybe you can call and negotiate. Hey, I don't have 200, but I have 100. Will you accept that? Sometimes if you have medical bills or whatever bills that go to an outside collection agency, they'll accept a payment or of a fraction versus paying the full thing. So that's also something to consider. Keep your credit score high, as high as possible, and it's okay to work towards a higher credit score. It's perfectly okay. You're not the only person. And keep your income as high as possible and your expenses low. Remember that you are loved and you are needed. And if there's anything that I can do, leave a comment, share some feedback, and I'm here for you. Have a good one.